2K difference to second, and even more after that. The third, it gets crazy, and the points are
Grab a
double. The
snack.
stakes are double. So yeah, we got teams in first, second, third, fourth. Big shout out to Zeke and the Desk for breaking all that down. But Sancho, half a game can just change that.
Everything could matter here. Every drop spot matters. We saw Andretta go into the
Shut
trash
up.
early
Oh,
on,
loaded
and
in,
that could be a
loaded.
big factor. But here we go, folks.
Benji,
Thank you so much for inviting us into your homes or wherever you're watching around the world. It is the premier region of Fortnite. It's Game 7. Let's see who gets that hot start. And we're going with that premier matchup between Andretta and Malabuka. Let's go.
We're talking about MMA fights or some crazy boxing match going on at Steamy Stacks. By this point, if it's over 2 days, it's an Olympic level bout, right? Like, this is like a multi-day event, an off-spawn fight that does not stop. And yeah, the Desk was right too. It's been going kind of even overall who makes it off-spawn. And Dread Benji Savage, though, if they win
they're
spawn, they actually end up turning that game, and there's so many more points in their opposition.
Right now, all that matters is Savage gets the first knock, Shio.
They just get Shizo down every time this happens. The fight does wrap up quickly. Malabuka will push in to see exactly what he can do. And Andretta just look for the flank. Big pinch. Not going to be enough for this team to really have any more firepower. Andretta's there. It's going to be fine. Benji lives with 1 HP. And I think you see on the bottom right side of your screen that one arrow just barely leaving the minimap. That's going to be Mustache just trying to run completely far away.
Talk about a ruthless push, a barrel stuff from Benji Fishy right there to get those elimination, and what a great start to day 2. Hey, double the points. That's 8 points right there for all the Benji and Dread and Savage fans.
That's exactly what we like to see, and you know, since it's so fast, I'm going to turn that into so much more placement over the entire game. But we saw it yesterday as well. Dirty docks, lots of action, you know, everywhere around the map. There were so many kind of clashes going on, not too many finished battles. But we'll wait to see how many can actually pop up. If you're watching wherever you are, Party Royale on your couch, on your computer screen. Welcome. This is day number 2. It is just the beginning. We got mounted turrets in the business, man-wise. Not going to have enough damage to really keep it up or do anything crazy. Castle Light really has to kind of pick up the slack now. He's going straight inside the business, into the boxes. Lever action, not going to be the fastest thing used to get some damage down. He's going to actually bite the dust there, and then Curb is going to try to do whatever he can, but it's a 1v3 Sancho. This is not looking too good.
DKS and company are so used to defending the Southeast Stronghold. This is a change from KS1 Light and crew coming in to just to take the fight. They changed their drop spot. It's every time we always see in the finals here, Shio, it's like nomadic trios. They're just trying to search for a home, and sometimes they get ousted quickly. So right now, Curb and through, they have to go back to the drawing board to find another home.
Big unfortunate part too is that they don't have zone. So it's not like, you know, Curb can just wait around here for too long and try to get those cards back. They're gonna have to move a pretty long way away. Gray's elimination finally coming in as well.
So what will this do into the rest of the trios? You got to think about the Aqua trio that I've been waiting for the day 2. We have a replay to take a look here, and this is the aggression we've been already seeing here in day 2 in game 7. A lot of barrel stuffs, a lot about getting in people's faces to get the job done.
You're talking about getting the job done to an absolutely excellent grade. That's going to be the POV on your screen. Thomas HD, Queasy, and Nas. The current first place team, and they only get better when there's 2 days of competition. The thing is, though, this is the most different POV we've kind of seen from this team over time. Usually they're behind people, right, Sancho? When you're running a race and you see someone in front of you, you can get motivated. You want to run faster. But this is the first time they're in the lead and have to hold on to it to a day 2. It's very different stakes.
Exactly, that's what Thomas HD said. It's the difference between trying to catch up to first place and being in first place. It's so interesting to see in social media, everybody was talking about day 2 is the real deal. Day 2, we're gonna make a comeback. The time is now. And you've seen that Thomas HD did not wait for day 2. He started with day 1 with 48 solo impact points in the day. What does that mean for the people at home? Essentially, he was responsible for 48 points by himself. And that all started with that game 1 clutch.
Yeah, he basically has more points by himself than about like 5 teams inside the competition today. That is just absolutely insane. And then he has a Nas and Feezy to play with as well. Every time they're all alive, they end up just winning a game. They had back-to-backs yesterday to just round off the day, which was cool to see. And are sitting inside the top 10 for more than half of their games, which is really, really good. Past that, though, many different teams on the scene. You got Teak at the bottom left, Tayson on the right, a little bit of a perspective inside your top 4 and how they're playing. Also, a perspective on Legends overall. I want to talk about that second place team for a little bit. Kefi, PKR, Melody. You mentioned this, Sancho, right? First grand finals, and Zeke and Levin were also talking about it with Reese. They kind of play everything like a cash cup. They kind of do things in a very, you know, new type of, hey, what's going on here way, against the grain, very basic, very just casual, nuanced type play.
They fight hip to hip. They triple spray. Their fundamentals are clean. They don't try to ego challenge the solo. They're a great trio. And if you look in that 17 elimination game that Reese was talking about, they look fantastic. And I hope to see more of their POV going forward in day 2.
Well, absolutely. It's kind of like if there was a video game type high school or a Fortnite high school, they'd be the main character surrounded by legends, just entered the scene and are playing insane in their old, or in their own way, with like an old gaming setup. They might not have like the craziest tech to play with either. It's nuts. And here they are, landing somewhere right beside the pyramid in the middle of the map. Used to be called the Convergence. They have so much loot to work with, Sancho. And what? They're landing on the gas station, right? No one can really contest them. It's such a niche, small drop, but they turn that small start into huge impact.
It's quite amazing to see the amount of power weapons they get out of this gas station. As you see, as Melody here led all EU players with 19 eliminations. This first ever time here in a final stage. And this is so interesting to see how they work together. They actually take a lot of popular Storm Surge strats. This is what hurt Aqua, believe it or not. Do you think Aqua would want to go to that Southern Pleasant Park spot? This team was there. They're there in all these places, and they get a lot of the job done from a distance.
And they're pretty invisible, too, when they're doing it. A lot of the times the teams that go for these bases sometimes get overrun. You're mentioning Aqua. He's the one to push them and get them out of the way. But with the pyramid in the way now, it's not as easy to traverse the center of the map. At the same time, look at that spike over here. Did he just walk up to Ghostless?
Yes,
sideways, someone to pick him up.
That wasn't easy.
That man's not a bot, not a zombie at all. That's sky rolling in. That's insane. Ghostless, if you guys didn't watch yesterday, his team was basically the troll under the bridge, the toll gate for the entire south side to move up to the middle of the map or to the north of the map. For Scott to just walk in there and take away basically like a mini boss by himself, that's just insane.
And that's for your first taste of the sideways anomalies that are all throughout the map. That is basically puts you into this sideways area, and you have to fight these monsters or whatnot. And that gives them great shield. That's why their opponents go into there. But now we get a taste of Force, Bad Sniper, Laxos there, who are definitely looking for that day 2 bump. As of course, Force is an Asian FNCS champion, trying to do what Muzz did, becoming a 2-time FNCS champion cross regions.
Yeah, for Bad Sniper's team right there, it's just unfortunate. They don't look as flexible every time they get pressured. It's like an arthritis type beat every time they get lobby focus, Sancho. They can't just flex their joints to be able to get out of tough spots. I think that's exactly what they need to work on today to do that. Opposite though for Taste and Chapix, and every time you see them in a bad spot, they end up just getting some crazy impact elimination. Moving after that, they've been in so many different spaces of the game, sometimes controlling high ground, fighting in mid, controlling low. I think they're the most adaptive squad everywhere, but Levin mentioned it yesterday. They don't have everything together. They're kind of like split personalities. They're not really working as a team completely. It's kind of random all around, but it is working out for them overall.
I would say definitely the top 4. 3 of those teams do have those solo clutches. We saw it all day in day 1. You would have Thomas HD clutch, you would have Hen or Chapix clutch or Tayson, and at the same time, the only trio that didn't really have that problem was Kefi, PKR, Melody. I mean, they all were all together at the end game. So the question would be in day 2 for Tayson, Hen, and Chapix is, will they be all together at the end? Because we've seen it when they're all together at the end, they could get those victory rails quite easily. But you're right, they make it quite harder for themselves, considering that's usually 1 or 2 people operating at the end game.
They see like Hen tarping randomly. Why is Hen tarping? Hen, out of all people, building, stop that. Let him shoot, bro. Let someone else roll in and tarp. So we'll see how it works. Front line save it, Matzo as well. 149 points rolling in. They were really under our radar the whole time, right? I think we saw them. You know when you go back to the Easter eggs for a TV show, and there was the one villain behind the scenes 24/7. This was that team. We saw them rotating behind the scenes with some other big team when they have their big moment. They just rode by.
Yeah, coming from Coral Castle, you will be underneath. You will be in a shroud of darkness if you're coming from there. It's not a popular POI that does not develop championships, but Save It, Amplify, Matzo are making it work, and I think it's what's their mid layer, the mid-ground game is what they've been doing really well. And Amplify has been popping off. They had a slow start, but those last 2 games, they were able to get some big eliminations and a lot of placement points.
Yeah, we're also mentioning, once again, circling back to Thomas HD, Queasy, and Nas, I want to see what's happening between him and his team, Thomas HD, and then Seti Kemi and Teak, right? The relationship both of them have. Because Seti Kemi and Teak won the last FNCS Reese was talking about their low ground prowess. It's so great, right? And he's looking for them to win today. Let me break it down for you for how Steady KBT just activate and win tournaments, right? They're the kid, if you're looking at it from a college perspective, that just studies while everyone else is partying, right? And everyone else is usually partying on height. They get to study on low ground 24/7, ace the grades, get all the points, win the tournament. The thing is, though, there are no more parties on high ground anymore, right? It's getting a little bit more crazier in mid. We're not seeing too many retakes. So now there's a new exchange student coming in, Queasy and Us Thomas HD, right? They didn't get to show up in the last section of gameplay too much, but now they're studying all the way on height, and their textbooks are cleaner. Their knowledge is more recent. They're going to the office hours as well with the teacher. It's crazy. They're getting more points because of that, the Victory Royale, the placement. And they do it again today in double points. I don't know how many books and plays Steady Kemi and Teak can make, but low ground can't do what height does and what Thomas HD does.
Here are all the students of the game of Fortnite. You're seeing all the positions. We saw in the feed that Noah Riley, those people that tend to always ace the test, was able to take out a former FNCS champion in Kirachi's trio. So Noah Riley, Vidil, and Janice are looking really well. They started great in day 1, too. So let's see what they can do here in this day 2. Like you're seeing, again, the same thing, more cautious here. You know, with $600,000 up for grabs here for that first place.
First place gets 600,000.
Tight to the chest.
Second place I forgot and all that.
Talk to me, though. Who's a pharaoh of this zone? Because it kind of looks like he might be going towards the pyramid, staying a little bit to the middle of the map right now. We saw the high bases before.
Cappy's trio. Cappy's trio would be the one. Yeah,
so? Okay.
They're already in prime position right now. The fundamentals are clean. Like I said, they triple spray, they work together, they move together. PKR is a great tarper. He puts them in those prime positions, and Kefi and Melody are just the ones that are just racking up those eliminations. They play like sound trio gameplay. It's very clean and it's very basic, and it's working for them very well.
Every team playing so close to the chest right now, too. Not that much action to look at in terms of fights. Everyone's going to be hunting for damage. Why is that, Sancho West? Why are teams going for damage?
Well, this is your first time watching. You're in for a treat for the day 2 action, but it is something you have to be concerned about. It's called Storm Surge. It's a way to penalize teams for being way too passive. And so the less damage you do, the more behind that 8 ball that we said yesterday being Storm Surge damage, and you will get 25 ticked of HP damage, and it kind of appears itself 3 times. So we're getting close to that mark here. It's about to appear in the next storm circle here. But the team right here, Noah Riley, 3 eliminations. Don't really have to worry about it. And you have to be worried about that team because we do know Noah Riley and Vidil could definitely turn it up and rack in those eliminations. But here it is, Alpha Fly saving it, Matzo taking a box fight. And it's because of Storm Surge.
You can't build a base at all, and yeah, they're going to roll in. 193 damage below, but they only pick up the last half health bar of the enemy that we're fighting, so they fall even further. Haven't gotten enough damage. They have to go for another fight straight away. This is getting crazy.
Wow.
Only 34 damage. That player was also weak. Yeah, they just ran through him, but they're getting hurt still, Sancho. Not to below. They might have taken a addition off the overall threshold, but they need so much more, so let's push a third team.
Oh my goodness, that was a nice play. That was a box play. They fully boxed up that other Crow member easily peasies. But yes, this is what happens. This is the result of Storm Surge. You don't do that homework, you can be heavily penalized, and you're gonna have to do something you don't want to do and push a team you don't want to do. Hey, and a big change. Analyx's trio is actually rotating early, and they're ahead on that to amplify and save it. 19 players have to go down to the Storm Surge to turn.
Controller disconnected.
Looking over here as well, we see a little bit of an early clash between Thomas HD. The other side, I think that was Tayson we were watching. Maybe Janice always getting them confused. Every time I see one name, I expect the other right beside him. But they're going to be looking good, not all the way towards the center of zone. One team actually launch padding, looks like all the way there. Might be one of those free pads available at these bases. But man, going to be tough when every team is playing so close to the chest. Once again, you saw Storm Surge just barely activate, close immediately as everyone just explodes around the map. Reason picked up a few eliminations as well. What's the Nas doing?
No, it's the pressure. The pressure that's occurring here, and now you're seeing the other type of pressure of these pushes all over the place. This is what happens when Storm Surge is activated. It makes a lot of ping pong go happen. There is that full box play. The hotness is there, and they're working as a trio, and that's why. I mean, a lot of the people, they were in the top 5, and it's because that trio. energy is working strong with them. And considering, it feels like if you play with Upfly and Matzo, I think you have like 1 or 2 seasons before the honeymoon phase is over. That's why Benji's trio was able to do really well. I mean, let's be real. They do really well in initial outset, and Save It has been able to fill in the role nicely as that third member of the Upfly Matzo vibe.
I always miss when ADM was rocking with the crew, though, you know?
Yeah, yep.
That was the classic vibe, the peak nostalgia. But Save It, man, like, you know, we call him the reboot king, so to speak. But this man, when it comes down to it, all the way towards the end, he surprises people in those positions he puts himself in to just pop off. Different than every other prestigious player, and he just makes it work.
He's definitely a fan favorite too. You know, a lot of people, Levin loves him. You know, Levin is one of those guys that roots for him as well. And you're just seeing how they're working together. Look at this triple spray against Analyx, not be able to withstand this.
Yeah, for some reason, Halloween's over, but X-Squeeze has his Deceptos costume still on. You know, we saw that team rotating from the south, always getting beamed apart and not making it towards mid and end game. ForceZR, Analyx, X-Squeeze are just getting beamed. Taking a bridge that has no beams connected below it. They have to just kind of go towards the river, and people are shooting them from all sides. This is just completely unfortunate. And there's not going to be a chance for a reboot at all. It's too late in the game. There's not enough vans around either. That's ForceZR being beaten by Cammy, who's also nearby. So these are 2 big teams, Sancho, that get that refresh.
And you gotta look at this loadout that Save It has. He has purple weapons. They just picked up a lot. They literally gifted down by the river, and they got harpooned it all up. They're looking strong, and now you see that other perspective, the angle that Cammy said he kept set up. This is the time that we've seen there. Usually they go down to that green bridge, but because of this crash site upgrade, you see them perched up here and have better angles around. So let's see where they are when we get that checkpoint of that storm surge, which is about to appear very closely in that storm circle 5. And right there, it looks like 9 people will have to go down, but here's that peak of the leaderboard going into this match here. Queasy and Nas Thomas CC coming in with 200 points, and they're still on their feet, so they're still accruing points as we already crossed that first placement threshold.
I mean, that's to see exactly how far they can go. But gotta remember, nothing ever is solidified in positions right now. Everyone's gonna move out again. They'll get to their cooler bases. Some people might not look as cold. Obviously, though, riding the whip. I mean, this is bold. We don't see cars all the way this late. And he's hanging out the passenger seats, going for beams as well. You saw him with this mythical burst AR. Sloan's, I believe, correct? He does crazy damage. Snipers are vaulted, but he makes it still look like he has one.
He gets so much damage through builds, and this is what happens when you run through a car. You get the lobby focuses, all of a sudden they're going to have to build out quickly, or this is going to be bad news. It might be what happened with the Ambulance. Oh my, that fire may be a problem because it will continue to burn.
They got metal builds though, it should be fine. And yeah, just like that, expand the base hard, make sure you make it really wide as well.
So much invested.
Analyx and ForceZR can handle 2 teams. Thomas AC, Queasy, and Nas with a car stop the whole lobby from spraying the cow.
Sometimes, man, luck, fortune's a skill, man. Sometimes it does.
Ahead with the legendary AR as well, you can really drop some damage. I think it's because of other teams right below as well. If they start to overshoot, they attract attention. Seti Cammy T going to do exactly just that, and Cammy is going to be below, or no HP is going to be Hen who's going to be below Surge. That's why they're really going for this. Maybe that's why people switch targets away. And this team, the 4th place team that usually stays invisible, that kind of just lets the game pass by and plays late game themselves, are getting targeted, can't drop the pressure, and are maybe even going to get taken out.
I told you, this is where Cammy Set and T get the most trouble on the rotation. This is the only time they get taken out, is they get targeted by their position, and they have to be careful because when people are desperate for those HP tags, they're going to make those moves. And you know, Hand, Taste, and Chapix are more than capable to take that box fight against Cammy Set and T.
Keeps on.
So Thomas HD and Nas and Queasy kind of used them as a barrier in front of them, and then everyone else focused them. But who are they shooting?
Who are they focusing? That's what I'm about to say. Someone is getting the brunt power of 4 trios. As you see, look, Chapix and Hen are moving closer and closer to Monica PKR's trio right there, and that is our 2nd place team. They might get WT by Chapix, Hen, and Tayson.
What? The Thomas HD is getting a free crate as well? Launch pad? Pump upgrade?
They needed it. They needed it. I told you.
Who's sponsoring him inside the game?
Luck,
it's literally on their face. They drove in, get super pressure, get it denied, get a free airdrop as well, and now they're still moving. And one of the worst positions I've ever seen. Half their body, 75% of it underwater. They can't even move, but Steady can't be taken from them. Also have to go soon. They understand they're on a timer. Free launch, but actually shot out. Oh no, Thomas HD in trouble. The star player, the Clutch Meister, lost in the zone. Has to put his pad down.
Wow.
Weezy doesn't make the zone either. Anas is 1 HP. I mean, we've seen clutches before. It's how Thomas started day number 1. But he has to, and he will have to do it again on day 2.
He was able to clutch from like 60 people were alive. 22 or so of trios were still on their feet in placement, and he went all the way into more than top 10. But look at it, more people are maybe going for high child.
No, but look at Thomas HD. He's taking out a whole team by himself, already knocked away Savid. Amplify's team was suffering from Storm Surge really hard. That's how Hen got to take over their base and get exactly where they are right now. Ultimate high ground. It's actually Matzo that Thomas knocks, and is a 1v1 against Amplify, who's about 30 HP. So we saw yesterday, Sancho. How did Thomas do it? He got fast refreshes, picked apart teams that were under surge. He's doing it again. This could be another solo clutch to keep their team in first place.
MVP performance from Thomas HD.
Now we'll see Head, Tayson, and Chapix. How do they handle high ground? 130 damage above. They've kind of elevated their entire game. They were shambles, but they're looking good now. Ultimate Janice is flying by towards the ground side, but here's the POV for first place. Still another launch pad in there. Once again, that air job blessing this team in the moment they needed it most. Thomas HD now, kind of near what? Second height? Going to be focused by multiple teams. He's not staying as incognito as before.
He has to be careful. He cannot be at second height longer because he will get seen and will get focused. And taking a look at his match, he won't be able to withstand the pressure. He has to move down, go down multiple layers, but he may just be able to get to the front with this pad. Nicely done, but he had to avoid it. Underneath the tarp. I'm so worried about his position right now.
It can't be ultimate low. That's where every team's going to go. Even though this is more exposed, this is the kind of more secretive position. He can kind of convince people he's part of a team and just lacking back. Look at height though. Fork taking over. Chapix down. Jinky, as a result, there's a trade there. Jinky is going to get blocked. Fork now. Chapix is still trying to do something as he's fully knocked. He gets eliminated, but Head and Tayson are there to pick things up.
And the second place team is still on feet. It's PKR all by himself in that mid to low ground level. But we're all focused here on Thomas HD trying to survive with no hard mats here. He does have a couple people in this layer, so he has to be careful on what edit he does choose. As Badil gets a knock and elimination there on 2 players, and one of them was Tayson.
He's moving through the eye of the storm right now, surrounded by a lightning hurricane
Tom's
around him.
gotta do
Every
it.
other
Way to
team
go
is
for this.
targeted by
No way to
Surge.
go
He's
for
going for
this.
height by himself. 19 mats with a harpoon. Might not have anywhere else to go. He sees 2 players. He goes, oh my!
70.
He has 30 to knock that player down as well. He gets it. It's Noah Riley, and Noah Riley was on height. Thomas HD in a 1v3 gets a knock. Has to wait for it to come through. Maybe he can even find the body. This is nuts. He used all his mats for that elimination, converts it, and then survives in mid-ground. This man does not care about any other player in the region. Start at 200, take your team at 256 on that first game of the day. He's insane, and he splinters height apart as well.
What a nightmare run. What a great run as well, as Hen is trying to kind of duplicate that run, armed with the harpoon as well here. Benji Fishy's in the feed, Savage is in the feed, lighting up everything. So it's good to see those boys walking out of steamy stacks for all our eyes. And here, the young English Lord, Hen, with no builds, trying to sneak up on the full thing. He does get caught out and eliminated, and it is Benji Fishy with the job getting it done. But the defending FNCS champions here are operating as per usual on the low ground as a trio.
Desperate though, they're going to be running out of mats. Benji, Savage, and then Dread have gotten so much done right now in terms of taking out every single squad. Look at those Savage, low on shields, and Dread, no HP, no time for the mech kit either. Benji is going to be damaged, so damaged that he has nothing really left in the inventory after these 2 shields. It's going to be all in from this team, and they have another big one to deal with on low grounds.
That's the Benji we know, and no, Benji with 5 eliminations gets wiped out. It's Teak with a 2-piece. Cammy setting Teak now are going in a 2v3 against Badil and Noah Riley here on high. Actually, it's Janice and Badil. They're working together here. Can the defending FNCS champion get a day 2 with double the points, bonus action, 60 points on the line? Yes, Badil goes down. Now it's a 3v1. Where is Janice? Janice is there, and Janice is gone. 10 eliminations and the victory royale. All it took was flying to land to get together, and boom.
So we gotta see that replay.
Great start.
They must have forgot He must have forgot about Steady KBT in the Thomas HD clutch. That is just insane from every team
That was a
to
great
elevate their
clutch.
gameplay on the second day where the points double up, where the pressure doubles up as well. But it's your champions, your reigning champions that
Alright.
roll in and
That is a